I'm not going to touch.
Yes.
Can you see now?
Yep, we can see you. Can you hear us okay, sir?
Thank you, guys. I appreciate you, officer.
Mr. Hazard, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, he needs to move it closer, but they've been treating me quite horrible.
Did he already walk away?
Yeah, he walked away as ignoring. They've been treating me horrible, Judge.
Well, it sounds like you can hear me okay, though.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yep, we can hear you just fine.
Yeah, they've been doing me really, really bad. That's a whole other matter. I don't mean to.
Well, let me hear from your lawyer. He wanted to tell me something. Go ahead, Mr. Mills.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Your Honor, it's my understanding, typically my client would have the right to be here in court. I've not had a chance to talk to him regarding his appearance via Zoom at this time. So my understanding from staff in court here is that there's been some sort of behavioral issues which necessitates him being here via Zoom at this time. On my client's behalf, I would have to say that we would object and request that he be here in court. Obviously, security is a court issue, a jail issue, Your Honor. But I just want to put that there on the record.
Ms. Ezel?
Thank you, Your Honor. The court would leave it, the people would leave it to the court's discretion on how to decide that. At the time, we are ready to move forward on the preliminary exam and either matter.
So you have your witnesses here?
We do, Your Honor. We have two witnesses to present today. One is an asset protection officer from Walmart. The other is a Lansing police officer.
So this is like it's an armed robbery case. It just seems to me that this is capable of resurrecting its head at a later date if we were to adjourn things, try and give them a chance to be here. I don't know if there would be disruptions or whatever, but I guess we can adjourn things to see if we can be brought over. And if there are going to be problems, people will just be taken back to the jail.
Or basically pulled anything out. So you can talk with your attorney about that.
Yeah, ma'am. Well, I'm going to expose myself. And
going to adjourn consideration of the hearing today on my own motion, since he's not here.
Thank you very much, Ron. I appreciate your consideration here. I would prefer we go forward today. We've got the people here. The people are prepared to go. I am prepared to go. And as long as my client's okay with it, like I said, it's his right. But I would prefer going today, Your Honor. But I appreciate your consideration.
So, Mr. Hazard, so you heard what we're discussing?
Yes, I would prefer to go ahead. That's what I'm saying.
So you want to go ahead as well?
Yes.
Oh, okay, well, as long as you want to go ahead, we can go ahead. You ready to call your first witness?
Yes, Your Honor.
Well, I should probably ask if there are any other preliminary matters before we get started.
Your Honor, as always, with multiple witnesses in a case, we always ask for a sequestration order just to be sure about that. Right now, both of the witnesses are in the same room. However, I do not believe they've been talking to each other about the case. And once the witnesses are done, I do believe they will be dismissed for the day.
And so no real reason to sequester anybody.
I would agree with the prosecutor. There's no one currently in court to listen to testimony either. So that would be the only pre-trial matter for the defense.
I will tell you guys this, and it's only happened one time that I can think of since we moved to this modality, that sometimes people are listening to the hearings online outside of the courtroom. And you can't really account for that if you haven't actually spoken to them. And we haven't spoken to them, but by the time we have one person testifying, I don't know that you'd be lost anything.
You understand, Your Honor. The people have no concerns about that in this case. There's only one lay witness in this case, and that is the asset protection officer. Everyone else is either a Lansing Township police officer or a Lansing City police officer. Most of them who are either here ready to testify or I believe they're doing.
You only have two witnesses today.
Correct, Your Honor.
Who are you calling first?
Today we'll be calling Mr. Christopher Bailey first. That is the asset protection officer from.
That resolves that issue then, because the asset manager will be the first person called. All right, if you're ready to call him, I'm ready for you to proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank
The
you.
people call Christopher Bailey to the stand.
Sir, I can just choose. I'm sorry. Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you're going to provide to the court will be the whole truth?
Yes, sir.
Please have a seat. And state your complete name. Christopher David Bailey. Is that your name?
Sorry, one more time.
Is your name Christopher David Bailey?
Yes, sir.
Can you spell both your first and last name?
First name Christopher, CHRISTOPHER. Last name Bailey, BAILLIE.
Oh, it's two L's.
Yes, sir.
Questions for Mr. Bailey?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for being here today, Mr. Bailey. I'd like to just start by asking, where are you currently employed?
Walmart, 3225 Town Center Boulevard in Lansing.
Thank you. And do you happen to know if that's in Lansing Township?
Lansing Township Police is who respond to us every time, so I would imagine yes.
Okay, thank you. And that's in Ingham County
Correct.
and in the state of Michigan? Thank you. And what do you do at Walmart?
Asset protection investigator is my title.
And what does that consist of?
First and foremost, I'm told that my job is safety. So I'm in charge of the safety of the store, fire, things like that. Also theft, internal and external, and security.
Thank you. And do you recall working on February 26th of 2026?
Yes.
And on that day, what time were you working? Do you recall?
I believe it would have been 2 p.m. to 11 p.m.
Thank you. And do you recall having to contact police on this day?
Yes.
And can you tell me why you had to contact police?
I had an individual that was shoplifting in the store at the time that I called.
And how did you know they were shoplifting?
So I was walking the floor. I passed by the men's apparel department, glanced over in the aisle that he was in and saw him with a backpack, not on his back, but in front of him, which is usually an indicator for me to watch people. So I swung around and got a better angle and watched him shove a selected hoodie and pair of pants into the bag and then zip it up.
And when you saw that happen, what did you do?
I started following him around the store just to kind of see what was going to happen next, waiting for him to make it clear that he was headed to the front of the store, at which point I went ahead and called PD dispatch and kind of broke down what I had just witnessed and gave a description of the person that I was dealing with.
Okay. And at that point, I'm going to stop there. Would you recognize that person if you saw them again?
Yes.
Now, this might be a little difficult. The person that we are here for today is on Zoom. Can you see the Zoom screen okay?
Yes.
Okay. In the bottom right corner,
Sorry.
Well, he's not in the picture now.
I'm seeing that, Your Honor. Could we have Mr. Hazard be instructed to place his face within the view of the screen?
Mr. Hazard, we can't see you. Okay.
And does that person look familiar to you, sir?
Yes, it does.
And is that the person you saw in the store that day?
Yes, it is.
Thank you.
Your Honor, I'm sorry. I just have to object at this point. I think there's been a little unduly suggestive here. We've been naming him, forcing him to come to screen, essentially pointing him out to this witness here, where I think it creates a little bit of a question as to whether or not he recognizes him from that day, or whether he's recognizing because this is the person we've been naming here in the court here, Your Honor. So I'm just placing my objection.
Would you like to respond?
Your Honor, I can lay further foundation if necessary.
I think it's necessary because I think there's probable cause that we're dealing with. I'm not saying that this is a 100% identification. It's just saying there's probable cause to believe that that's the guy.
Very good. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. And Mr. Bailey, I just want to ask, did you know this man's name when he was in your store?
I did not know.
And when you saw him taking items and started following him, did he say anything to you?
When I first started following him, no.
Did he say anything to you at any point?
He did, yes.
And where were you at when he said something?
We would have been approximately in the women's apparel department. So to give context on where that would be in relation to where I first saw him, it would be about 50 feet closer to the front of the store.
Okay. And at this point, what did he say?
Sorry. At that point, he heard me giving his description to dispatch. And he turned around and gave me a weird look. And at that point, that's when I asked him if I could have what was in his bag. And he responded with, "I don't have anything in my bag." And that's kind of when I told him, I saw him, like I said, when you turned around, you saw me in the same aisle as you. I think you saw me put it in the bag, just let me have it kind of thing. I'm on the phone with dispatch. I can let them go if you just give me the stuff kind of thing. And that is when he told me that he said it several times that I needed to just let him go, let this one go, leave me alone kind of thing.
Okay. And so you're on the phone with dispatch at this point. So you've contacted law enforcement. Are you staying in that women's apparel section while this conversation's going on?
We're moving at the time.
And where are you moving toward?
Towards the front of the store.
Okay. And so while he's saying, let this go, does he ever go to a register?
No, he doesn't. He passes through what we call the bullpen. It's where the self-checkout registers are at, and he just walks straight through.
Does anything else happen at this time?
During that time, several threats were made.
Can you tell me what those threats were?
So at one point, he lifted his shirt to show me his waistband. I couldn't tell what he was trying to show me, but at that time, he told me that he was going to chop me into pieces. That was during one of the times that he was telling me to let it go.
Okay. And so he lifted up his shirt. Did you see anything under his shirt?
No, again, I wasn't able to identify anything in the waistband, just the fact that he was trying to draw my attention to it.
Okay. And then he passes all the sale points. Were there any other threats made?
At that time, no.
What happened next?
He entered the vestibule to exit the store. At that time, inside of the vestibule was when he removed the object that was in his waistband, and it became clear that it was a weapon.
What kind of weapon
It
was
was
it?
a hatchet that had been selected off the floor.
And how did you know it came off the floor?
We used still shots from that footage to see the object and went to the floor and found that exact object on our floor, scanned our system to see if any were missing. One was, and we're able to determine it that way.
And now when he grabbed this hatchet, how was he holding it?
So he had it by the handle.
And was he making any threats at this time?
That would be the last time that we spoke at all, and that was his last kind of let it go. Like I said, I'm going to basically chop you into pieces if you don't leave me alone kind of thing.
Okay. And did you let him leave the store at that point?
Yes, he left. He walked on foot through our parking lot across the street to the nearby Sam's Club, continued to walk. I was standing in our parking lot the entire time, kind of just telling dispatch what I was seeing as he was going until I lost sight of him past the Sam's Club parking lot.
Okay, thank you. I want to back up just a little bit. Did you give a description to Lansing or to the dispatch people?
I did.
And do you happen to remember what that description was?
Yes, white male, possibly in his 30s, with a red backpack that was empty at the time of entering the store and was completely full at the time that I was talking to them. Jeans and Nike shoes.
Yeah. And did officers arrive on the scene?
They did, yes.
You happen to remember if those were Lansing?
Hold on. He disappeared. Can you call Inspector Paul?
All right. Thank you. Okay. Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah.
Judge Allen is very distinguished and he's excellent at it and he keeps his courtroom under control, but it's not good for stream purposes. It's good for judicial economy, but it's not good for streaming.
Died.
Oh, the tablet died.
Again,
Oh, that's going to probably take a while.
says it shouldn't take too long.
Yeah, but they're conceptual. What's a long period of time, and now it's sitting here. It's going to be different.
Yes, sir.
I bet it's going to be at least 10 or 15 minutes. You might as well put that on pause, and I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back. Good.
Can you hear us? All right, thank you.
Yeah, but it looks like your lens is upside down.
Yeah, see the type of games they're playing, Judge. They won't even. They keep lying about stuff, and you put it all back. I'm thinking, twisting it around.
Actually, that sounds like the sheriff.
Yeah, they're all types of crazy.
Yeah,
Yes, thank you for that edit.
unfortunately, I don't know why it's mounted on there upside down.
Because you did that. You just did that. Judge, they're crazy. Judge. They're fucking crazy. They just let it die on purpose, and now he's twisting it around.
All right.
Sitting it on back. So he went side.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it's like that.
Is there something that you guys can do to adjust it?
No, I mean, it's not letting me turn it normal.
They're doing it on purpose.
You're not.
Okay. It looks like he's in the distance. If we can get a clearer picture.
He's a little bit closer, but I don't know.
I think you guys have background.
What's that?
You might have the blurred background. They do.
It looks like.
All right, thank you. Pass it. Officer.
So do you guys have a setting on your device that says blurred background?
Oh, he's walking off. He's talking to him.
Oh, I'm sorry. What did you say, sir?
I was saying, do you guys have a setting on your device that says to blur the background? Because of the distance between him and the camera, he's blurry.
Well, they should have me in the polygon, Judge, but they're trying to mess up my court date, Judge. They're doing this on purpose. I don't know
Yeah.
why. We got some type of vendetta.
Seems to be working.
Yeah.
I don't know if we actually need to have a clear picture, though. You think we
I'm
need to
sorry. I
have?
don't know why. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know how
See,
to.
yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Hazard, can you see us okay?
Yes, I can see you fine, Judge.
Okay. Well, as long as he can see us, that's fine.
Judge Allen slipped one in there, but he was so smooth about it, it's hard to tell unless you're paying attention.
We can go ahead and continue.
Yes, sir.
Okay? If you'd like to go ahead, go right ahead.
Thank you, Your Honor. All right. Mr. Bailey, I think we left off with the police arriving on the scene. Do you happen to remember who arrived?
No, it was not Lansing Township that I dealt with.
Do you happen to know if it was Lansing City Police?
I could not confidently tell you who it was that I dealt with. It was a female officer that was not from Lansing Township that walked in and took the report from me. I had never met her before. I didn't even think to have that information ready for you, unfortunately.
No, that's not a problem. I was just curious if you remembered. And then the only other thing that I think I need to ask you, sir, is at any point, did you try to stop the person who was stealing from the store from leaving the store?
No, I was never in front of him. I would have never had the opportunity to do that.
Thank you. And then at any point were you concerned that the hatchet was going to be used in any sort of way?
No.
But I'm just not clear on the question. What was the question?
If the hatchet was going to be used in any sort of way?
On him?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, because that's one of the charges is that it was armed robbery, that he used the hatchet. And did you understand what her question was?
Yes, I believe you're asking, did I feel threatened in any way? I didn't personally feel like my life was in danger. He was far enough away. I'm trying to be like specific in that. Like, yes, he did brandish it in my direction and I felt like he was doing so, but I felt like he was far enough away from me where there was nothing he could do if he wanted to anyway. So I didn't feel like my life was in danger.
I think that the answer is a little bit different than what it sounded like before.
I believe so, Your Honor. And I just want to clarify, did you maintain distance with him on purpose?
Yes.
And what was that purpose?
As soon as he lifted his, whether I saw anything in his waistband or not, the moment he lifted his shirt to show me his waistband, trying to tell me that there was a weapon and telling me he was going to chop me into pieces, it's my training that I have to create distance. So that way, if he were to try to assault me in any way, he wouldn't be able to because he's too far away.
Okay, thank you. And then I believe you said you watched him walk away.
I think we just need one little clarification, if you don't mind.
Yes, absolutely.
So how much distance do you think was between you and the defendant at the time that this was occurring?
So the way I'm trained is basically COVID distance, so 6 feet or more. So that I would say at the time that he raised his shirt, we were pretty close. I mean, I could have reached out and touched him if I wanted to. The moment he turned and faced me and raised his shirt, I stopped moving and he continued to walk forward, and I allowed him to create I would say 6 to 8 feet worth of distance before I continued walking, and I maintained that distance from the rest of the time that we interacted.
Okay, 6 to 8 feet.
I would say, yeah.
Okay.
And do you happen to know about I'm sorry, let me rephrase this. Do you happen to know the dollar value of the amount of items taken from the store?
So about $80 is what we can prove. As I stated, the backpack was completely empty when he entered, and it was very, very full when he left. So based on that, I can say it's more than that, but I can't prove that it's more than that. So what I can prove with actual visual confirmation is about the $80.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions, Your Honor.
So the attorney for the defendant is going to ask you some questions.
Excellent.
Next cross-exam.
Thank you very much, sir. And good afternoon, Mr. Bailey, correct?
Yes, sir.
And I'm sorry, I'm used to calling security at like a loss prevention. What's the title?
Asset protection is what we call it. Different companies are going to call it different things, but it's relatively the same. The reason it's called different things is because different stores allow more power for us than other stores.
Okay. Thank you for the clarification. I appreciate that. So how long have you been an asset protection officer?
Year and a half.
And have you testified in court before?
This is my first time actually having to make it this far. I've been subpoenaed to testify before, but this is my first time actually making it without being thrown out before this part.
Okay, so you've had to write reports before too, is that correct? I'm sorry?
Many, yes.
Many? You understand the importance of those reports obviously is so something you can reflect back on, correct?
Correct.
Did you write this shortly after the incident occurred?
Yes, I would.
When it was fresh in your memory?
Correct.
And I think even in your own statement, you talked about, the importance of making sure everything is truthful and not intended to mislead. Is that a fair statement?
Correct.
And accuracy is also very important too, correct?
Yes.
So you're only going to put important information in your report, correct?
Correct.
If something's not important, you probably wouldn't put it in there. Is that a fair statement?
Most of the time, yes. I mean, it depends on if somebody tells me above me that they want a detail that doesn't seem important to me in the report, it's going to go in there.
Okay. So you're going to include important stuff. You may include not important stuff if someone tells you to put it in there.
If I'm directed.
Okay. All right. Now I want to focus on a few of the statements that you allege my client made to you. One of the things you specifically said was that he lifted his, I'm sorry, let me track that. There were two statements, or two times, I should say, that you and the suspect interacted. Is that correct?
I didn't notice that. That isn't.
I mean, no, it's not. He spoke to me several times. There was 2 times where he made threats.
Okay.
Time they were speaking.
So these 2 times that you're alleging the suspect made threats.
Correct.
These are the ones I want to talk about.
Yes.
Okay. There was the first time that he made a threat. You guys were still inside the store, you said?
Correct.
And you said that there was a comment made regarding chopping you into pieces. Is that correct?
Yes.
You didn't see anything. He lifted his waistband, but you didn't see anything. Is that true?
Not that I could attest to, no.
Okay.
At the time, it was just him unfinished shirt.
And you're very specific regarding chop into pieces.
Chopped into pieces, correct.
That's a pretty important detail, correct?
I would say so.
Yeah. Is that something you included in your report?
I don't remember exactly what my report says.
Are you having trouble remembering your report, or?
I haven't looked at the report since the moment that I typed it. So I don't want to say what's in the report without having looked at it a second time. And I'm not going to say something that I don't for sure know what.
Would it help refresh your memory if you saw your report?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Your Honor, if I may approach?
Sure.
All right. Prosecutor's actually provided me with his written statement here. Sir, do you recognize what I'm handing you here?
Yes.
Okay. Is that your report?
Yes.
All right. So if you want to go ahead and read that, look up when you're done, once your memory's been.
Got it. You would like me to read it to myself?
Yeah, just yourself.
Understood. Okay, I'm good.
Exactly, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. So has your memory been refreshed?
Yes.
And sir, did you write down anywhere in your report something regarding chopping into pieces?
No.
Even though you said that you do put important things in your report and that this was an important threat, you said, right?
To be clear, I put in what is important to Walmart.
Regarding my question, you said that this was an important statement and you put important things into your report, correct?
Correct.
You did write that there was a particular threat in your report, though. Is that correct?
Yes.
Something about like let it go, let it go. You don't want to mess with me. Is that correct?
Sure.
Is that
Yes, that is correct.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. When moving forward to the vestibule, and that's the two doors, correct?
Correct. The breezeway between entering and leaving.
Entrance and exit of the building.
Got it.
Thank you, sir. At this point, you said that you saw him pull something out of his waistband. Is that correct?
Correct.
Now, you indicated you had to go to review the
CCTV footage.
Thank you, sir. The CCTV footage, correct?
That's correct.
And that's how you were able to determine what it was that he was holding?
Correct.
So you didn't know initially what he was holding in his hand?
That's correct. Live on the phone with dispatch, I let them know he was brandishing a weapon at me. I was not sure if it was a gun or a device that he could stab me with. I told him that specifically. I don't know what he is pointing at me, but he's telling me he's going to hurt me and he's pointing something in my direction.
That was before the vestibule, though, right?
That was at the vestibule.
Okay, you were on the phone. I'm sorry, I just misunderstood. You were on the phone with dispatch?
From the moment that I saw him in the women's apparel, yes, I started calling and giving the description as we made our way to the front.
So you were on the phone the entire time, from there all the way to the vestibule?
All the way to the vestibule and beyond.
Okay. And you indicated there may have been some kind of weapon, but you weren't certain what it was.
Correct. At the time, it was all moving fast. And again, I don't like to say things that I don't know for sure. So I didn't want to say, hey, he's got a gun. Hey, he's got a knife. I just said, hey, he's got a weapon.
Okay. At that time, did he try to run at you with this thing?
No, but he was still moving, and he was moving away and I was moving to about.
And so he didn't turn to face you to try to throw anything?
Face me. He did not like try to throw it at me or.
And that's what you mean by you weren't threatened at that time. Is that fair?
That's why I say I was not feeling threatened at the time. Yes, he was saying he was going to do something, but in my logical mind, there was no way he could follow through with what he was saying he could do because of the distance.
So even though he was exiting the building, there wasn't a fear that you had at that point?
Not at that point.
Okay. I appreciate that, sir. Thank you. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Ms. Giselle?
Thank you, Your Honor. I think I just have one redirect question here. Mr. Bailey, how do you determine if something's important to be put in your report?
Right, that's what I was trying to. So it's important to Walmart, right? So whether he has threatened my life or not doesn't really matter to Walmart. My report, what I'm putting into the report is there's a program called OR, and it's what I refer to as the Facebook for Criminal. It's for our internal purposes, we put in basically a gist of what the person's name is and what happened. Outside of like details of what he said to me and things like that are not things that I'm normally going to put into it. The only reason I put that there was a threat at all is because in the moment I anticipated this may happen, that it might get this far. I wouldn't have even put that in the report had I not even thought that this might even happen. Now I know going forward I will be getting very detailed in what's said and whatnot. But at the time I've never been instructed to get that detailed. I just need to, in our end, make it clear that he was doing the bad thing, prove that I saw him doing the bad thing, and then say what it was. As far as all the rest of it, that's all not necessary type thing. If I were to show you a report that I didn't think was going to make it to court, it would be like 2 sentences long.
Okay.
What's the name of the program that you just referenced?
It's AUROR or Aura. Yes.
And then, so I just want to clarify. So the people you write this report for, that is specifically for the people higher up at Walmart?
Not even them, really. It's for others like myself.
So other asset protection
Correct.
agents. Okay, thank you. No further questions.
All right, I think this witness may be excused then. Thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you, sir.
You'd like to call your second witness?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, the people call Lansing Police Officer Derek Selden. You can sit here right up.
He's a Lansing police officer, not Lansing Township.
That is correct, Your Honor. Lansing police officers did respond to this incident as well.
Okay.
Then I'll get into that with the officer.
Okay. Come around to the witness chair, please.
Sit down.
Raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm that the information that you're going to provide to the court will be the whole truth?
I do.
Please have a seat. State your complete name and spell both your first and last name.
My full name is Derek Robert Selden. My first name is spelled D-E-R-E-K. Last name is spelled S-E-L-D-E-N.
Okay. Questions for Mr. Selden?
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you for being here today, officer. If I could start by just asking, where are you currently employed?
I'm employed with the City of Lansing Police Department.
How long have you been employed there?
I've been there as a sworn officer for about going on 2.5 years now.
And were you working on February 26th of 2026?
I was.
And do you recall responding to a dispatch in Lansing Township that day?
I do.
And why were you responding to something in Lansing Township that day?
Lansing Township, typically, I work noon shift at the Lansing Police Department, 3 p.m. to 1 a.m. So we overlap Lansing Township's day shift and night shift. Their night shift, as far as my experience, typically only has about 2 officers working. So they were toned and responding to an armed robbery at the Walmart in their area and requested mutual aid assistance. So I responded to assist with that.
Thank you. So you went to that Walmart?
Yes, I did.
And is that the Walmart in Eastwood Town Center?
Yes, it is.
Do you recall if that's at 3225 Town Center Boulevard?
I believe that is correct.
That's Lansing Township, Hingham County, State of Michigan. Thank you. So when you arrived, you said there was an armed robbery dispatch for that. When you arrived, what did you see?
I arrived originally in front of the business. Dispatch stated caller's advice he had last ran towards Sam's Club from the Walmart, which I believe is directly south of there. So I sat in front of the Sam's Club for a moment before then standing out to search for the person.
And I want to back up a little bit. You say were you given a description of the person you were looking for?
Yes, I was.
Do you happen to remember that description?
I believe dispatch had said it was around mid-30s, white male wearing a gray flannel or plaid coat, blue jeans, and boots.
Yep. And so you were watching the Sam's Club area. Did you see anyone matching that description in that area?
I did not.
How did the situation progress from there?
After that, one person had approached me in the parking lot, said they saw someone acting very suspicious, gave a description which had matched the same description, and said that they were last walking towards the Eastwood Town Center through the parking lot. So I headed that way, checked the area, and then they started canine trap. Then we got another caller who was they were a bus driver at the Meijer over in that area, which is east of Eastwood Town Center. You said someone who provided a same description was at the bus stop acting so erratic and suspicious that the bus driver did not feel comfortable letting them on the bus, and then they called us.
And with that information from the bus driver, what did you do?
I then responded to the area of that Meijer to check the area for the subject that they'd called in to try and determine if it was the same. That person, they said, was last seen heading north towards the back of the Meijer. So we checked inside the Meijer, around the parking lot, the bus stop, and around back of the business initially before then driving northbound along the road that's on.
Okay. So you didn't find anyone around the Meijer?
No, I did not.
So you started driving, you said northbound?
Yes.
Thank you. And at this time, did you notice anyone suspicious?
Yes. I was driving along, I believe it's Coolidge Road. That's not my typical area over there. Driving along Coolidge Road. About half a mile north of the Meijer, there's a section of woods to the east, and I observed white male matching most of the description, walking through the woods and out to the road.
Now, when you say matching most of the description, can you explain that a little bit for me?
This was a white male with a short beard. He had a light blue long sleeve shirt on, no gray or plaid flannel. And he had blue jeans and brown boots on as well.
And was there anything odd about the way he was dressed?
Yes. It was pretty cold outside. It was about 30 degrees, if I recall. He was walking through the woods in an area where there weren't really any houses. There were a couple large businesses. I recall a rehab center right in this general area where he was walking through the woods. That stood out to me, a place that someone this late wouldn't be at. And he didn't have a coat or anything heavy on, despite it being about 30 degrees while walking.
Now, were you concerned that he wasn't wearing the flannel that was originally described?
That wasn't very concerning to me, as we've been getting a few of the calls about this guy moving away from the Walmart stuff. It's rather common for people to start disposing of clothing they're wearing when they know the police are out looking for them, and we had a very heavy police presence in the area looking for them.
Okay. And were you able to make contact with this person?
Yes.
And how did you do that?
Initially, I was driving by and I noticed a man walking through the woods coming out to the road. So I hit the brakes, I put my car in reverse and rolled down the window and yelled at him, "Hey, you stop, I need to talk to you." And he looked at me, responded, and I said, "Hey, I need you to stop." And then he took off running away from me.
Okay, he took off running away from you. Did you remain in your patrol car at this point?
I started to get out and I realized I wasn't going to be able to get out in time to chase him. So instead I flipped a U-turn. I went back around the corner. He had ran west, directly across the road behind my car, and then behind a house that was to the west. So I drove to the north side of that house and I saw him coming around the side of it towards the driveway. So I pulled in the driveway and made contact with him again.
Okay, so at this point, you're in somebody's driveway and you're able to stop him from running?
Yes. At that point, I get out. I give him more verbal commands to stop walking, stop running, follow my commands at that point again. But
right. And what did you notice when you made this contact with him?
at that point, once I got him to comply, I was able to detain him, put him in handcuffs. I noticed he was covered in, I forget exactly what they'd be called, but like the types of burrs and stuff that you get stuck on you from walking in the woods a while, which kind of indicated to me he didn't just walk briefly, like divert from the roadway into the woods for a second. He had been walking in the woods for quite some time. His pants were covered pretty heavily in these, and his top was not.
You describe those things as burrs?
Yes.
And did you notice anything else about the person you were speaking with?
Going back to the fact it was cold outside, about 30 degrees. He was also quite sweaty for being in below freezing temperatures or near freezing temperatures. His had a beating sweat on us, not just a little bit of sweat. He had been sweating for a little bit now, more than what I believe someone would sweat from running about for 30 seconds from me.
And were you able to identify this man at all?
I was.
And how did you identify him?
Once I had him in my back seat, I was able to have him give me his name. I gave me the name of Derek Hazard and his date of birth, which I can't recall the top of my head. And I was able to confirm that identity through Lane and SOS records.
Okay, thank you. Unfortunately, I don't believe we'll be able to make an in-court ID at this point, as Mr. Hazard is not visible to us at the moment.
Okay.
And I just want to follow up. Did you read Mr. Hazard his Miranda rights?
I did not.
Did you interview him at all?
I did not.
And who did that part of the investigation?
I saved that for one of the Lansing Township officers that took the statement from employees at Walmart.
Thank you. And I just want to back up a little bit. When you originally tried to have Mr. Hazard stop, when you gave him the commands to stop walking, were you in a LPD patrol car?
I was.
And were your lights on at that point?
I cannot recall if my overhead lights were on or not at that time. Yeah,
and what were you wearing that day?
I was wearing my full police uniform, vest with badge visible and everything, and the police car is fully marked police car as well.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
Mr. I'm not sure if you want to do this or not, Mr. Milks.
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, officer. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Good afternoon, Officer Selton. So this evening, I'm sorry, that this had occurred back in February. You said it was about 30 degrees outside. Is that correct?
Yes.
If you remember, we had a pretty nasty cold snap either several weeks or months prior. Do you remember that?
I do.
Negative 20s or something like that. Is that right?
Yeah.
In Michigan, 30 degrees is almost sweatshirt weather when we're coming out of winter. Is that fair to say?
At times, yeah.
At times, okay. When you were searching for this individual, were you also informed that they had a red backpack on?
I was.
And you heard that it was an armed robbery you were dispatched out there for, correct?
Correct.
That someone had stolen goods from this store, correct?
Correct.
Did you hear any information regarding the goods being in a red backpack?
I recall them putting out further information over the radio once some officers got there, and I believe they said they were concealing items in the backpack in the store. And that's what they were using to conceal items there.
But did you hear that while you were on the lookout for this individual?
Yes.
When you pulled up and saw an individual in this outfit, you yelled, you rolled down your window and yelled at them. Do you remember that part?
Yes.
And you said that they responded somehow. Is that correct?
Correct.
Do you recall what they said when they responded?
I can't recall exactly what he said.
Okay. How far away was he from you, if you have an estimate?
About the same distance from me to you would say less than 20 yards. Just the other side of the roadway.
And there's a highway right nearby. Is that right?
We were pretty far from the highway.
Okay. Could you still hear the highway?
No, I could not.
You couldn't hear the highway?
No.
And you were in your vehicle, correct?
Yes.
All right. Did you have your radio on?
Yes, I did.
All right.
He was dry humping all that, dude. Oh my God! Yeah, that's what I was saying. He was getting after it when I pulled up.
You probably
Sorry,
can't suppose. Do you know if the
All this backpack talk, I couldn't help myself.
individual heard exactly what you said?
I don't think I could say one way or another.
That's fair. That's a bad question on my answer.
Well, let me ask the question differently. You said something to him and he stopped and responded,
He did.
and you heard the response,
Okay.
and you recall what that response was.
I can't recall exactly what he said. It was like a 1 or 2 word response.
Okay. So it could have been, F off, right?
Could have been.
It could have been can't hear you, right?
Could have been.
Okay. And you said that your lights were your lights on, you said?
I can't recall. I think at the moment they were off because there's a lot of traffic around. We've been looking for a little while. And I recall my cameras reactivating after I turned them on to flip around.
And I'm going to back up here again, so I'm sorry about this, but you did end up going to Walmart, is that right? Not inside, but you went to the parking lot?
Yes.
How long between you going to the parking lot to going out to the northeast up there? How long was there?
So, allow me to clarify, between me initially arriving and about the time I found the mail we're describing?
Yes.
I think it was about 45 minutes by that. 40 minutes.
Did you ever find a red backpack with this individual?
I don't believe we did.
Did you ever find a hatchet on this individual?
I don't believe we did.
Were they wearing that gray coat that they were originally described wearing?
It was not.
He was wearing, I think, multiple layers. Is that fair to say?
Yes.
Also, I appreciate it. Thanks, sir. No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
Just briefly, Your Honor. Officer Selden, do you remember anything significant about the shirt he was wearing when he was arrested?
Are you able to rephrase?
Yes. Did that shirt appear to be new?
Oh, yeah.
Objection, Your Honor. That was leading. this point.
It was leading, but I think that she was just trying to help, but she could have rephrased the question.
Absolutely, Your Honor. How did the shirt that,
What was the condition of the shirt?
yes, what was the condition of the shirt that you saw?
The shirt was essentially brand new and still had a tag on the neck of the shirt, I guess. What's the word I'm looking for? Like a clothing tag from a store that had not been.
Okay, thank you. No further questions.
What kind of tag was it? Was it like a price tag or something?
Price tag, yeah, the price tag still on.
Let me ask one follow-up question.
Sure, go ahead.
Did it have a security, like the beeper alarm on it at all?
That I don't recall. I'm not confident enough to say one way or the other. I think I recall someone pointing it out, but I can't say for sure.
Thank you, sir.
May he be excused?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
You have any further witnesses, or are we at the point of resting?
We are at the point of resting, Your Honor.
Mr. Milks.
The defense is resting, Your Honor. Thank you.
Then I'll entertain arguments.
Thank you, Your Honor. At this time, Your Honor, the people move for this case to be bound over as charged. Mr. Hazard is charged with 2 counts. The first count is armed robbery. Under this count, the people had to prove by a probable cause today that first, Mr. Hazard there attempted to, I'm on the wrong definition there. I was looking at the definition for assault, Your Honor, that he did in the course of committing a larceny use force, violence, or assault a person that was present to with a dangerous weapon to continue that larceny. Asset Protection Officer Mr. Bailey today did describe that Mr. Hazard did have a hatchet on him, made multiple threats against him while actively stealing items from Walmart. Even though Mr. Bailey today stated that he himself was not in immediate fear of being assaulted, the definition of assault does require that a reasonable person be put in fear. And Mr. Bailey did explain that his Walmart training does require that he remain at least 6 feet away from somebody who has a weapon for his safety and others. We believe at this time, Your Honor, that a probable cause standard has been met for that armed robbery count. Additionally, Your Honor, Mr. Hazard is charged with resisting obstructing a police officer. That officer would be Officer Derek Selden, who you heard from today. The commands that he did resist were the commands to stop, followed by running, followed by Officer Selden having to chase after Mr. Hazard, finding him go through the woods and up to a residence before he was able to stop Mr. Hazard for a conversation about this incident. At this time, Your Honor, we do believe that this case should be bound to circuit court as charged. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Honor. Your Honor, when we're viewing the jury instructions here regarding armed robbery, there is no reasonable person standard regarding the accused putting an individual in fear of some sort of violence or threat of that nature. It was pretty clear that Mr. Bailey said that he was not actually in fear. He knew that nothing bad was going to happen. He wasn't concerned about that, Your Honor, even though there were some statements made. Because the defendant did not put him in fear per the state's own witness, Your Honor, I don't think the people can meet count 1 for the armed robbery here. Additionally, Your Honor, regarding the resisting and obstructing, I can appreciate Officer Selden's work that evening. However, I think when he came up to this individual, the suspect that he saw in this shirt, he indicated that he yelled something, but wasn't certain if the individual heard him and didn't know what the response was necessarily, whether it was a clear understanding and lawful command that was actually made, Your Honor, or conveyed that my client or the suspect could understand. I do not believe has been shown. So for those reasons, Your Honor, we would ask that the court not bind over on both. I would also just note, Your Honor, that I do not believe that the Officer Selden necessarily had the requisite reasonable suspicion at this point in order to effectuate that stop. Per People versus Moreno, an individual does have a right to evade an unlawful search, or I'm sorry, an unlawful seizure, Your Honor. So for those reasons, again, I would ask the court not bind over on these matters.
Okay. And Ms. Ezell?
That's a nice swing by the defense attorney, but I haven't seen this, but his client acting like a complete kook every time he gets a chance is not helping the cause.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Melks is correct. There is no reasonable person standard specifically defined in the criminal jury instruction for armed robbery under 18.1. However, if you look closely, the people had to show that first, the defendant used force or violence against, assaulted, or put in fear. The definition of assault under this jury instruction does come from 17.1, where that reasonable person standard was applied for an assault. So we do believe that that assault has been shown here today, using that hatchet, followed by multiple threats, and the requirement to stay that distance away. Additionally, Your Honor, Officer Selden today did talk about how he gave that command, watched Mr. Hazard stop, turn, respond to him before he took off running. I do believe that gives Officer Selden Officer Selden probable cause to believe that a crime was either being committed or was in the course of being committed. And that would give Officer Selden at least the opportunity to detain Mr. Hazard for a brief stop to determine if a crime was being committed. Upon that brief stop, he did have indications of Mr. Hazard going through the woods with burrs on him, wearing clothes not correctly for the weather, and running, sweating profusely. Your Honor, I do believe that this gave Officer Selden that opportunity for that detainment for further investigation and for his lawful commands of stopping Mr. Hazard. Thank you.
So I think that's probably where I'll start at is resisting instructing police officer that he took off running. I mean, first of all, Officer Selden was dressed in full uniform, had a car that was marked fully as a police vehicle, and was in the operation of performing the duties of a police officer when he was searching for and came across Mr. Hazard. And then he had issued some commands to Mr. Hazard. Mr. Hazard took off running, and despite the fact of the command to stop, whether Mr. Hazard actually heard him or not, I guess it's a subject for the jury to determine. Certainly, if he yelled out the window at him that he should stop, and he took off running, and he didn't ignore the command to stop, that's probably the hallmark of resisting instructing a police officer. As relates to the robbery arm with Mr. Bailey, I'm not sure if that's a posed question or not, because again, he was committing a larceny, and the commission of the larceny, he had a hatchet on, and he threatened the officer who was doing the investigation. If, let me just look at the criminal jury instructions, 18.1. Defendant used force or violence against or sought to put in fear. And I guess the only thing that sort of stands out in that regard is it seems that as long as the officer felt like he could keep at least 6 feet between him and the defendant, that he can mitigate any sort of fear he would have of him. But 6 feet is nothing. I mean, that's basically turning around and lunging at me. So I don't know that that's necessarily going to be proof beyond a reasonable doubt as we relate to, and I'm looking at the criminal jury instruction, 18.1. So there may be some opportunity for there to be something done with that particular charge, but it does sound like there is at least probable cause for me to believe that that should be included in the bind over. In the presence of, while the defendant was in the course of committing the larceny, while in the course of the larceny, the defendant possessed a weapon. Not that he actually threatened a weapon, but that he possessed a weapon, which would have been what we were talking about before. I think that there's probable cause to believe that that charge should be bind over as well. So I'll bind over what we got for both of the charges in the complaint. It sounds like the defendant is still in custody of the England County Sheriff's Office. I don't know if he's being held on this matter or if he's being held on something else. I'll defer to Mr. Mills to see what he wants to say about that. Mr. Mills?
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, I believe he's currently got a parole hold. So I believe he's in there for that right now. So changing or amending bond, I think which is going to be
Superfluous?
Thank you. Great work. Yeah.
So we'll just continue on, even though it seems like it's a little bit high. $50,000 cash surety, it does not matter really, because if he's being held with regard to another matter, he's not getting out in any event. And whoever looks at this in circuit court can basically dispose of both of those issues at that time. I'll just keep the bond where it's at $50,000 cash surety. Madam Prosecutor, anything else for the record?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Milks?
No, thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you both. Appreciate your patience and waiting for the jail to both be advised of the problem with the machinery and for them to get it corrected. So that was a first for me. So, all right. That's all for the record.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, by special request, this is the only other backpack clip I can find right now.
Y'all out there bunny hopping, and I'm out here dealing with a naked man humping the ground.
Some of the classics never get old. They really don't. Oh no. Oh wait a second. This isn't good. This isn't good. I'm too early for biggin. I got stuff. Give me a second here. Zach has sent me a whole bunch of stuff that I was going to do at 7, but I can probably poach one of those.
And if they come to me and somebody comes to me and say, hey, I need a couple mermaids for the show, I will go to my community of mermaids and mermaids that I have certified doing the gig, because certain people are looking for certain types of mermaids, and I may not be their type.
Yeah, we are.
They may want a
We've got
long
specific
haired
mermaid requirements.
Tiffany redhead. They may want a really skinny person. They want a man.
Here I am laughing at my own stream. I really like this Vlog Talk with Mike channel. It's pretty good.
Who I have a few mermen on my roster that I can use.
In the misty rain of Washington State, where the evergreens kiss the sound so great, there's a pool at the Y where the magic begins. Mermaid tails flashing, we dive right in. We practice our glides in the chlorine blue deep. Dolphin kicks, tail flips, no secrets we keep. The instructor calls out, keep your form nice and tight. But my heart's swimming faster, chasing dreams in the the company way, but I've got my own sparkle. No more delay. Love your soaring tales of my own. Break from the lessons, make the magic my throne. No more YMCA hours, no more following rules. I'll start my own business, teaching wonder to school. warm on a fins bright, glowing bubble ring.
Yeah, without getting into further detail, there were drugs involved that people were giving to me that ended up being glue. Like I smoked some glue and stuff. I thought I was smoking crack, and
Versus Patrick Shaughnessy.
Michael Gaddy, Assistant Public Defender on behalf of Mr. Shaughnessy, who is here via Zoom. Judge?
One moment. Mr. Shaughnessy, state your name, please.
Patrick Shaughnessy.
Okay, thank you. Hold on for a moment. Why do I have two? And she didn't turn in the sheet. And so this was like a bulk effort. You just said it. Thank you. All right, back on the Shaughnessy matter.
Your Honor, I believe we have a resolution in this matter.
I don't know where the files are. She doesn't do stuff on time. Go ahead.
I believe that Mr. Shaughnessy will plead.
I have a plea for him. Indicates he's going to plead to the charge of use of methamphetamine, the 1-year offense. Upon a successful, that's actually stated count 3.
Yes, counts 1 and 2. The possession of meth and no insurance will be missed, Judge.
Okay, so that should be on the form. He's going to plead to 3. Counts 1 and 2 would be dismissed.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Then there is the prosecutor will recommend sentencing under 7411.
Yes, I've gone over the plea with Mr. Shaughnessy. He gave me permission to sign it. I've explained to him that the prosecutor's recommendation does not bind Judge Freshour. I've explained sentencing judge waiver. I have added the date and the address, his signed advice or rights.
Sir, can you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. State your name again, please, sir.
Patrick Shaughnessy.
All right. You can put your hand down. Sir, it is this court's understanding
But you can call me the meth leprechaun.
that you're going to plead guilty to the charge of use of methamphetamine. That is a misdemeanor punishable by up to 1 year incarceration and a $2,000 fine plus court costs. Do you understand that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. You also understand that while I'm taking your plea, I would not be your sentencing judge, and you would be sentenced before Judge Freshour in the 1483 District Court.
Yes, Your Honor.
Still wish to plead guilty?
Yes, Your Honor.
And to that charge, how do you plead?
I plead guilty, Your Honor.
Now, you understand that by pleading guilty, you'll not have a trial of any kind.
Yes, Your Honor.
You caused to have signed an advice of rights form, is that correct?
That is correct, Your Honor.
Any question regarding any of those rights?
I believe not.
All right. You understand that you're waiving or giving up those rights, particularly the rights contained under paragraph 5 of your trial rights.
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you're giving up your right to appeal of right.
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you on probation or parole?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody promised you anything other than what's been stated here today on the record to get you to plead?
No, Your Honor.
Has anybody threatened you or coerced you in any way?
No, Your Honor.
You're doing this voluntarily and of your own free will?
Yes, Your Honor.
And also because you believe that you're guilty of this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
January 28, 2026, at the location of Liberty near South Dancer Road in Lima Township, Washington County, State of Michigan, did you have methamphetamine in your possession?
Yes, Your Honor.
Had you used it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All
Yeah,
right.
pretty much.
And did you know what you were using was methamphetamine or ecstasy?
I did not know to that effect, Your Honor.
Your Honor, we may have to ask for an adjournment. I don't think we can meet the.
I don't think I can take your plea.
I'd ask the court to adjourn this to allow me to discuss this further with Mr. Shaughnessy.
All right.
Oh my God, Zach warned me. That's why I got out the clip. But we really and truly have this scenario all over.
yeah, without getting into further detail, there were drugs involved that people were giving to me that ended up being glue. Like I smoked some glue and stuff. I thought I was smoking crack, and
Under fluorescent.
No.
Okay, sir, what I'm gonna do, given your answers, I could not accept your plea. It's nothing you did wrong. I just can't accept your plea.
It's something you did wrong. It's absolutely something you did wrong. You have to you have to admit to the conduct that you're pleading to. It's 100% your fault. Nobody else's.
I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak further about this with your attorney. I'll adjourn this to April 2nd, 2026, 9 a.m. Bond continued. All right, sir?
Okay.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Your Honor.
I'd ask the prosecutor to keep that offer open in case I'm able to explain this further to Mr. Shaughnessy.
You will. All right. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Oh, that was fun. That was fun. He'll get it done. That attorney's good. He'll get it done. It's just so stupid. This guy just got another court date, which isn't the end of the world. It's just a waste of everyone's time. Ah, what are you gonna do? Good times. Yeah, I it looks like I got a bunch in there, so I'll probably do one at 7 on the other channel. Thanks for coming out. I will see you soon.